Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast, episode number 63. I'm AJ.
And I'm Steve.
Steve, who are brought to you today by...
My very first contest in Procord.
How did it go for the people who don't know?
Really nicely. It was organized by the Black Political Caucus of Cabarrus County, held on the steps of the courthouse. So it was a bunch of speakers, leaders of the black community, and the police chief around Concord denouncing the actions of the Minnesota Police Department.
Good.
And then made a lap around the block with signs and probably preaching to the choir, but went really well. It was an all-ages type event, so it was with great nervousness that I'd done the thing, but it feels like having made a step in the correct direction.
You always want to be on the correct side of history. Well, Steve, in honor of that, what are we drinking?
Old-fashioned. Wait a minute. What's in a name?
Cheers.
Just funny what name.
How did I do, Steve?
He likes it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is funny was like, then I'm famous as Stevie Nicks. I'm famous as Steve Lawrence. I'm famous as Stephen McNally.
Who calls you Stephen McNally?
Well, I looked it up. He was an actor in the 50s.
Okay.
That was a bored lunch shift a long time ago, discovering that.
What style of a movie was Stephen McNally?
Westerns.
Okay.
So proof I was much tougher in a previous life.
Well, they have spaghetti westerns. Why don't they have lasagna westerns? Fettuccine westerns.
Alfredo westerns.
Well, they're all out there. There's nothing but white people.
Absolutely.
What?
Unless it's Blazing Saddles, and then that takes us right back around where we were.
You couldn't make that movie now.
No.
No way. I don't think you could.
Damn funny.
You couldn't make you couldn't make Airplane now. Timmy, have you ever seen a grown man naked? You could not make that movie now.
Love him or hate him, Gilbert Gottfried had the lead actor and the lead, stewardess at the time from the movie on for the 40th anniversary of Airplane.
What's her name?
Exactly.
I always thought she was...
That's why I went with their character jobs.
Elaine.
My sister's middle name?
That's your... Oh, I didn't know your sister's middle name. Well, no, it's not anymore, is it? Cat Nix.
Still in there somewhere, Hughes.
Okay, because Emily dropped her middle name, Christine, when she was Latowski Holt. She was very pleased to go from a what to a four-letter last name.
Cat went from Nix to Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's wife went from Pewanski to Nix. It took me a while to figure out how to spell that one.
It's a good thing Emily and Brad didn't hit it off, because then she would be Emily Latowski Yarzembek. Well, Steve, what else are we drinking?
Speaking of, they're coming up on a year.
I cannot believe that. What you have, in honor of it being 90 degrees outside?
The Black Mocha Stout from Highland.
And you also brought me a Highland Brewing Wonderlush Seasonal Hazy Adventure Ale, 5.6%.
Something a little more seasonally appropriate.
I mean, I like stouts during the...
And I laid up, this is only a 5.0.
Mm-hmm. That's totally okay.
Yep.
That's delicious, and that's decent. But really, I've been having a lot of old fashions lately. I think I have a problem, Steve. I like delicious cocktails.
Woo.
And Steve's cosplaying Trent Reznor's video of Closer with his goggles on his face.
Which way to the leaf blower so I can get the full effect?
I have one downstairs, but I dare not bring it in here.
That would be disastrous.
Well, the fan can go on high, but it can't go that high. But, Steve, the history of the old-fashioned cocktail...
These are motorcycle goggles I got off of eBay for $8 in hopes that, needing to wear safety glasses at work, these wouldn't fog up with a mask on.
Yeah.
No. But I look much better in these than the plain Jane, clear things and whatever have you.
You look much cooler in that than anybody else would wearing anything else.
I've also got another pair in the works, another eBay purchase for about the same price. It looked like Doc Brown's goggles from the first Back to the Future when he's doing the experiment with the electricity and the toy car.
Right.
I must have this. And they had a 10% off coupon, therefore, that got carried away ordering weird shit.
If you have a coupon, you have to find something to buy.
I found several, and somehow the roof rack for the car, it wouldn't let me buy that and the other stuff. Like, I don't really need this, at least not yet. So I'm going to hold off on this big expensive thing.
Yeah, since I don't have a toy to spend money on, I've been buying Jeep stuff. So I have my new shift knob, which looks delightful.
The 2-footer?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just a 2-inch. I was actually expecting a box this big, but it's really nice. Like, it's very, very well, especially for $11 shipped.
Nice.
Solid aluminum
I think
ball.
the Japanese character shift knob I got for the car was 30 versus the previous 6 speeds were probably closer to 50. But I think that both of those were off of Amazon when I had Coinstar money.
Right.
Thanks, Lowe's in Harrisburg, not a paid advertisement, for offering Coinstar services toward Amazon. They're evil, but they do have everything, and it's better with free money.
Do you remember in Rocko's Modern Life, Conglamo? The first season, we will own you, and then after that, it was we own you. Amazon is Conglamo.
Yes. Between that and Walmart.
Amazon, if they don't antitrust that soon, Amazon's going to put everybody out of fucking business. Because nobody. But the thing is too, like, even with their food, like even with like what is it?
Whole Foods.
With I want to pick my own cuts of meat and vegetables and shit like that. You can all day deliver cream of chicken soup with me.
This guy vegetables?
Sometimes I get that wild rabbit. But I want to pick my own fresh stuff. You can send paper towels here all the time. No, it was the outside, not the light. Yeah, it got mood lit in here.
This is really messing with my solar panel here, guys, because I'm going to make sure this is doing nothing to this phone's battery.
Well, I got that window blacked out anyway because it was shining light on my guitars and I didn't want the sun bleach them. I did redo it in here a little bit. There's a little bit more room, shed us off the floor. I desperately need to repaint in here, but there's so many holes in the walls. All my plates will be relegated to the garage probably. I want to kind of make this a nicer... I mean, it's a nice place to be, but I want to make it even nicer.
For sure I'm missing some of my plates along the way. Whoops.
Well, Stormy peed on...
Yeah, that was one of the... first
I don't even know what happened to the kitty.
She's back and you own it now.
The old-fashioned cocktail was developed during the 19th century and given its name in the 1880s. It is an IBA official cocktail, which is the International Bartenders Association. It is one of 6 basic drinks listed in David A. Embury's The Fine Art of Mixing Drinks. You can make it... evidently, you can make it with whiskey, and somebody said gin, which I don't know how good that would turn out.
We'll let you know.
Brandy, you can make... So, I don't know. I just made it with 4 parts bourbon, 1 part simple syrup.
Did you use the Davies?
I used Elijah Craig.
Okay.
I wanted you to try... Since you've had Elijah Craig before...
Stick to what I barely know.
Well, I didn't want to buy a $50 bottle to use that as a mixer.
Fair enough.
Because I love Craig. That bottle of Craig, I got another bottle of Craig and another bottle of Woodford. And the Craig's like $26. And it's really good by itself, but I'm more inclined to use a $26 bottle as a mixer than a $40 or $50 bottle.
That's why I'm going through lots of Black Velvet at home. Like, even the 8-year is cheap.
And
it's
for
delicious.
what it is, pretty damn good.
If you please.
And I would honestly, like, I don't think we talked about it before, but coming home from work, a lot of times after you eat, you don't want a really heavy beer. Like, just having a nice, the volume, it's less.
Yeah.
It's
not
less
to get
and
through
more.
12 ounces of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yet it's not your 40 ounces to freedom.
I was never a big 40 guy.
You're not falling for my subliminal messaging.
Yeah, evidently, this cocktail was originally from Chicago, and evidently the glass predates they sometimes call it the old-fashioned glass, but it's just a rocks glass, and the glass predates the drink, obviously. But you can use sugar or simple syrup. But if you use the sugar, you have to muddle the sugar. and that's just too much
Basically,
work. So
syrupize it.
yeah, well, I was
Or
going to say,
syrupize it.
you know how to. I didn't even know that you made simple syrup with water and sugar and boil it, or water and brown sugar and boil it.
How come you taste so good?
That's all it is.
Okay.
No wonder it's so good. That's your brief history of the old fashioned, and it was our pick of go-to cocktail. If you're at a restaurant, you don't know what to order, I'll take an old fashioned.
Unless they've got some sort of signature cocktail and you're out for that sort of thing. Otherwise, I find it cost prohibitive. Just show me the beer specials.
Yeah.
And it's not, something shrubbery. I guess I'll bite.
Well, if I'm out with Emily's family and I know I'm not going to have to pay anything, it's cocktail time. I hate to be that guy, but if the words that come out of Dr. Wing's mouth are order whatever you want on the menu, that's what you do.
I need a Pappy Van Dom Perignon.
Pappy Van Perignon. That might be the title. I don't know how to spell Perignon.
Guess. Or Pappy Van Peregrine for all I care.
Falcon.
Uh-huh.
Pappy Van Penguin.
Pappy Van Penguin. I like it.
Steve, you want to delve into some beer news?
Why, yes, let's.
Well, Steve, I have a list of the states that drink the most beer. You're not going to get this right because I hilariously got it incorrect. The first list is the states that drink the most beer per capita instead of just sheer number.
Okay.
So the states that drink the most beer per capita would be...
Wisconsin.
No, but Wisconsin's number 8 on the list. I will seriously be surprised if you get number... Let's see. I'll be surprised if you get one right out of the top 5.
Colorado.
No. Colorado is 19th on that list per capita.
The magic of it being a sparsely populated state.
Yeah.
Outside of Denver, it's pretty barren.
We've got Northeast, Mountain West, Northeast, Midwest.
Vermont.
Number 3. Vermont is number 3 per capita.
Oregon.
No. And
Because it's not Washington.
Oregon's number 15. Washington's way down the list. Washington's 42nd. That's hilarious.
Not a bunch of smelly red hookers there, huh?
No. 4 and 5, Steve, are north and south this, but not where we are.
Dakotas?
5th is South Dakota. 4th is North Dakota.
Wow.
Per capita. Gallons of ethanol per capita. Number 3 was Vermont. Number 2, Montana. What else is there to do?
That's real funny because guy at work on lunch break was going on and on about something in Montana. And then the day before, he was talking an awful lot about possums.
I just like their kingdom.
James is a very entertaining redneck.
Were you before you left trying to figure out if the missus was coming to eat? Were you singing the first lines of Possum Kingdom?
It's been so long. No, because my favorite song of theirs is "Everything We Have, We Steal."
I have not heard that.
Ooh, it's a good one.
I've only heard Possum Kingdom.
Give that CD album collection of songs.
To me, you can say CD.
Like the everything.
I won't judge you.
Yeah, the CD and its surrounding songs.
Gotcha.
Everything is absurd and wonderful as Possum Kingdom.
Number 1, Steve, New Hampshire.
Live free or drink.
That would arguably be there's no arguing about it. North Carolina is 31st on that list. This is per capita. So what it is you know what per capita is, but for the people at home, that data is an estimate of average ethanol content of sold or shipped beer into gallons of ethanol before calculating per capita consumption estimates. For this data, the alcohol by volume value for beer is 0.045. So that's per capita. It's fairly obvious who's going to be number 1 because all you have to do is go by population. Number 1.
Cali.
California's number 1. Number 2, everything's bigger in
Tejas.
Death's Waiting Room,
Florida.
Florida. I really wouldn't want to be here now.
New York.
New York, number 4. Number 5 is Pennsylvania.
2 big cities, lots of farmland.
So what you're saying is Bud Light, hippie yuppie scum, hippie yuppie scum. Okay. Well, we're hippie yuppie scum. North Carolina's number 8. 198.2 million gallons of beer consumed. And our friends are 1% of that.
Hooray.
Well, that's quite a bit. So Steve,
I'm a 1%er. It's not just the milk I don't drink.
that's the first part of beer news. So second part of beer news, Steve. Devil's Backbone Brewing is hiring a chief hiking officer. Devil's Backbone is in the great state of...
It's a Commonwealth.
The Communist of Virginia. What Devil's Backbone is doing...
Fun fact, while working at new place, every so often a car will come through that has its varied state plate still on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only managed to abscond a pair of license plates which don't match from This Place is for Lovers. So 2 incredibly plain looking license plates. But freebies, whereas out of state vintage original plates, especially something interesting, can get really expensive.
Yes, they can.
Like an outmoded Eagle Scout tag is $90. Or like my new Blue Ridge Parkway tag, one of those is $150.
Good Lord, man.
Yeah. Like I just didn't want to deal with the hassle of hanging on to the Uber plate. Like I could make another one, or change it up and have a fake tag for $15. That's Friends of the Smokies, which is the most hilarious tag option in this state.
Too bad Forest Fires doesn't fit on your Great Smokies.
No.
So this
only a few of the custom ones can be fabricated as such, and oddly enough, there is a First in Forestry. But rather than being a First in Flight or the other stupid options for plain Jane tags, mine is Share the Journey.
That sounds like a slogan for like Land Rover.
Because your tow truck driver will share your journey.
Because nobody wants to share a Dodge Journey.
We had an LR2 roll through today. What the Freelander became.
Oh my God.
And I was like, man, it's a shame spending this much money on something that looks just like a Ford Escape.
Oh, it does, man. What year was it?
Like a 14.
Yikes. Steve, do you want to hear about this chief hiking officer job?
Yep. Had I stuck with my scouting days and proof I was tougher in my youth, this could be perfect. Or out of Charlottesville?
I'll get back to you on that. The Devil's Backbone Brewing Company posted this position and describes it as, quote, "We'll outfit our CHO with gear, fly them to the trailhead, and throw some big old beer parties along the way, plus a $20,000 stipend. Stipend? Stipend. What you do is you hike all 2,000 miles of the Appalachian Trail. You have to create and post content on social media documenting your hike. If you're selected, you'll start at Springer Mountain in Georgia and end at Mount Katahdin in Maine. To qualify, you have to be 21 and over, love hiking, love beer. But if you think Stone Mountain is a decent hike, then this is not the job for you. It's supposed to take 5 to 7 months, and they are taking applications through July 30th.
I've got a coworker that did that. He has the logo tattooed on him.
I've got a friend who, not really a friend. All right, I know
someone you know.
Well, yeah, we were friends when he lived around here, but hadn't seen him in a while. He hiked the entire Appalachian Mountain Trail at once, and now he has Lyme disease. So what can you do?
Rhode Island's not part of the AT, dude.
Well, he nice guy, but you know what's funny? He was about 5'8", 5'9". He was shorter than me, and he's kind of pudgy. That son of a bitch came back shredded. I mean, he had like canned food on his back. He would cook me, and just hiking all the time. Of course, he's going to come back shredded.
smarter move on that would be take your cans and Ziploc them instead, because cans is weight.
Well, if you're looking to get shredded, it wouldn't take you long. That job would be cool.
Today I only did 11,000 steps.
I was probably close to that, but I can't check because we're being watched.
Wait a minute, you volunteered it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but the Appalachian Trail tags was one of the other options that you can do. Like for those that can't see this,
look at this electronic device from an electronic device on your electronic device. Steve, I don't know which eyes to look at on you.
My eyes are up here.
He's got fifth eyes. Wait, what?
Yeah,
that sounds like a really sweet job. If you were like 20,
a third and a sixth.
If you were 21
there.
or 22, and you were not married, like that would be the perfect job. How boss would that be? That would just be really, really cool to do, especially for $20,000 extra on top of it. I cannot.
Yeah, all expense paid partier.
All you got to do is walk.
What the Bert Kreischer is this?
He's seemed to make a good deal or a good life for himself. Even, man, I'm telling you what though. I like the guy, but like listening to when he's on podcasts and stuff, he's a lot to take in. He's quite a bit of person to have to deal with. Good news, Steve.
Have you ever watched one of his specials?
I can take it or leave it.
Well, I'd rather have the audio because, well, you can take the man out of Florida, but you can't take the Florida out of the man because he's going to do this pudgy and shirtless.
Every time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're known for that, you kind of have to be that because if he actually like P90X'd himself and was like shredded, it would lose. Being shirtless on stage would lose all of the.
Well, he's kind of his own Iggy Pop type character, just being
in reverse,
this self-destructive, artist of sorts.
Do you remember watching?
Just without the face made of beef jerky, because the beard hides everything. It's handy.
Do you remember watching? It was something with Iggy Pop. He's like, when I was 20, it was before a show. Man, I'm really nervous. I got to drink 25 White Russians. He goes, now I'm really nervous. I have to do some Tai Chi. Yeah, he looks great. Iggy Pop looks good from here down. From here up. It's seen better days.
It's a different variety of 70.
Yeah.
That is aged about as well as a modern Mazda leather interior.
Mm-hmm.
Fun thing seeing everything go through. The perforated leather in a Mazda 3 or 6 gets destroyed easily. Watch out, Adam. Assuming his is so equipped.
Probably. I gotta say, the only perforated leather I've had is in my TSX, and it had the parchment, the tan interior. Mm-hmm. I will never have a car with a tan interior ever again.
Yeah, those are gross.
I don't mind the seats.
The light colors don't
the
do anyone any favors.
No, it's the seats you can, like monthly, if you just take a rag with Lexol leather conditioner and just kind of, the seats are okay.
I think we
tan
got
carpet,
Sonax at work.
Tan carpet is just the fucking worst.
Yeah, which is funny because what's in this room?
House carpet is a little different.
It's more durable.
Yeah. Steve, good news, though. Houston breweries are making the Black is Beautiful beer collaboration to raise funds fighting police brutality reform. It's a 10% Imperial Stout. And NODA's actually getting
instead of the Stone Metallica thing that was like a Pilsner. It's like, you really messed up.
Mm-hmm. So NODA's getting in on it. They're going to start, I think they got the recipe. I think what they're doing is having the brewery, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's a black-owned brewery who's doing it, and they're going to give the recipe to anybody who wants it.
You're saying Three Spirits is back?
I hope so. This is a great space. We should pick it up and put it somewhere that's not Old Pineville Road.
Yeah. It was a mile from its nearest light rail stations.
There's a dank Mexican restaurant down there, though. Let's be honest, though. I've never been to like a Mexican restaurant where I go, the food here is horrible.
Yeah, it's always good.
It's always good.
Even the 59-cent little sister of them all. Yeah.
Yep. But Noda's got the...
And the
give me
controversy
recipe.
surrounding that was a particular franchisee, not the restaurant itself, by the way, folks.
Correct. Yep. Noda's got the recipe, so they're going to do it too. And I think all the proceeds go to needy people of color and families and such. Steve, silly beer names. Beer Nut has on masslive.com, Beer Nut, a 6-pack of clever beer names. So
Somewhere I've got a double CD that was Beer Nuts themed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if ever I listened to it, but I think it was something very punky.
Would it make you uncomfortable if I ate these cherries and looked you in your eye when I did it?
Only if I can do the same to you. Well, my whole eyeful.
Bourbon-soaked cherries are pretty awesome, though. While you're munching on that.
Don't eat a mic, Steve.
I don't care.
Even his ice.
I don't care at all. I was tickled by the names of the brews at East Hampton Abandoned Building Brewery. You already win.
You have.
I was tickled by the names, Temporary Sanity and Must Be Nice. Two beers got me thinking about some of the more cleverly named brews I've encountered. Let's kick off the list with a classic, Great Lakes Brewery Audrey Hopburn Belgian IPA. That's a good one. I think I always thought Rogue Dead Guy, when Dead Guy...
It's such a good beer, too.
It is. Like, the first time...
I'm going to have a dead guy. Like, excuse me, necrophiliac?
How about the...
Security!
How about the... Great Lakes Breakfast Stout at Tiffany's. By the way, Breakfast at Tiffany's, good movie. Fucking horrible
Shitty song.
You know what? I didn't hate the song when it first came out because I was young. But then when you listen to the words, you go, "This is just not good." And then, what's your band name? Deep Blue something. Steve's hating it. Steve hates that.
Always have, always will. Speaking of, name another one of their songs.
I'll get back to you on that.
Don't. Please.
How about
I beg of you.
Iron Monk Brewing's Bright D Weizensour?
Oh. What military-industrial complex developed that one?
Dock Street Brewing Pathological Lager.
Why?
With 2 Monty Python alums dying in the past 2 months, it reminded me of another favorite beer name that has been around for a while. Black Sheep Brewery's Monty Python's Holy Ale. Raise a glass and toast your good fortune by saying, I fart in your general direction.
Somewhere I have the Grail when the Saucer did that 12 or 15 years ago.
Did you seek the Grail?
I went to the Saucer that night specifically for said thing, yes.
If you're
Grail?
If you're a fan of adult contemporary, I can't help but think you would enjoy Tanya Creek Brewing's Hauling Oats.
Ooh.
I'm sad I didn't think of some of these, actually. Simon and Garfunkel, Brooks and Dunkel. The Halfpenny Brewings, The Shirt Off My Bach.
Nice. An expensive Mercedes.
And that's all the silly ones that were listed on Mr. whatever his name is.
I've got to look up whoever did this particular beer before I mention it. For the sheer irony thereof.
I feel like wine names are sillier than the beer names most of the time. Like, have you ever been down the wine aisle and just seen, like, there's, like, Fat Bastard?
Yep.
Like, that is not even a pun or anything. It's just says Fat Bastard on it.
They really liked Austin Powers.
They did. I really liked Austin Powers.
Great Lakes Brewing Company. The Elliot Ness Amber Lager.
Yes.
Because he was a prohibition officer and incredibly good at being on the wrong side of Proho.
Speaking of that, before you go on, one of my favorite hip-hop lyrics is the first of California Love. Let me welcome everybody to the wild, wild west, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest, like a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex.
Goodness.
That was when hip-hop had...
Yeah.
actual flow.
Yep. Yeah, Trouble was like, that was, I saw that before I saw any of the Mad Max movies, and then it was the third one, which is hot garbage. Sorry, Thunderdome.
I've never seen any Mad Max.
Hated that movie.
We're living it.
Fury Road is the one to see.
That's the third?
No, the new one that came out a couple years ago.
There's 4. Okay.
At least. I think there's a new one in the works.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were the 3 with Mel Gibson, rest in peace, your career. And then the new one that came out 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. That's the one to see.
Okay. What? To circa 2014, 15, 16-ish.
Yeah. It's new enough that you can get in 4K easily. Doesn't matter if you have 4K, but at least that's the standard by which to acquire said thing.
The only thing I've seen in 4K is stuff I can't share with you on here.
It's like you don't even have 4K equipment.
That's not the point.
I'm going to call that Fornicay.
20.
Damn it. Why did it take me that long to make that one up? High def prawn.
Yes. 23 of our favorite funny beer names.
That's your competing episode title.
Brew Bus Brewings. You're my boy, Blue. Not funny, but it's a blueberry wheat ale, so.
I'm not keen on blueberry flavored stuff.
Blueberry and grape flavored things don't taste like blueberries or grapes.
They take on their own weird thing.
Grape flavored things taste like purple. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Oh, Against the Grain Breweries, Citra Ass Down.
I think I've had that one.
Look at the can. That is boss. No. What is Lil Robert from Lil Robert's Place doing on there?
Fun thing, being in downtown Concord Sunday, they're not open on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we walk right by it.
Man, I miss playing at that place, man. Something interesting.
Fun spot.
Always happened there. Always happened there. Tactical Nuclear Penguin.
That stuffed deer is wearing 2 pairs of my boxer briefs.
Fuck yeah. Tactical Nuclear Penguin from Brewdog. Have not had that one. Heard of it, but never had it.
I think I grabbed that at Crafty Beer Guys back in the day. Because if you name it that, I must have it.
We need to go back there.
That was a cool spot.
Yeah, I had one show.
They are open again.
I had one show there, but they don't have live music. What happened was it was a private party, and my card got circulated to somebody, and they were like, hey, these guys play 90s. You said you wanted 90s. So we played there. That was a fun show. By the way, it was indoor. It was inside.
That's a tiny shop, though. They've got a decent outdoor space that I've never drank in, but it's always been couches or bar.
The good part about that place being so small is even as an acoustic act, like it was so busy. Like that was a 200-person party in that at that place.
What?
So inside and outside,
like
and
all
like,
they kept telling us on the first floor.
They kept telling us, "Turn it up, turn it." And we were kind of low.
Turn up for what?
The walls were vibrating. It was like being at a concert, but like an acoustic. But like it was so but it was such a good sound because it was good sound in there because it just bounced around.
Yeah, it's all wooden glass.
Yeah, it was really.
That'd be a lot of shaking bottles.
We had a lot of. It was like a $200 gig, but we walked away from that with like $120 in tips. And
Hells
it was
yeah!
Great. Boy, I miss playing. Cellar Maker Brewing Company's a Barbarian Streisand.
I love it. After the recent news, has anybody released a Home Despot?
I don't think so. They should.
That's a real low point
that
for
we're
them.
all gonna be. Another one from Against the Grain Brewing, the Great Big Kentucky Sausage Fest. Look at this label. I feel like you should be the graphic design. We should open up a bottle shop, and then Thomas wants to brew. So we should open up a bottle shop where we have our own brews on site. Thomas can brew it. I can advertise it. You can draw all of the labels for
Sweet.
it. That sounds like the perfect thing.
Back about 05, 06, my first move back to Charlotte, I attempted getting into graphic design, and that was in very fierce competition with my paid job, so that went nowhere, but it was a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
But it's basically how to make letters pretty.
Should we, while we're doing this, should we tap into the Cigar City rarity?
Sure.
It's the red one. behind the Imperial Milk Porter.
Alrighty.
If you grab that, I'll keep reading. Palo Alto Brewing Company's Hoppy Ending. Have you ever had a hoppy ending? I've never had a happy ending.
Usually the happy endings don't end well. That's probably I drank too much.
That's when you have sex with somebody as a furry dressed as a rabbit.
I was way off.
Tart Side of the Moon. Have you ever gotten into Pink Floyd?
I tried.
You didn't get into it either, did you? Because I didn't.
I certainly enjoyed more of said band than you have. Like I will happily listen to Dark Side of the Moon a lot. But as far as getting through an entire album, that's it.
Gotcha.
They are weird and they mean it. I appreciate what they've done, but all of Dark Side and about half of The Wall
Does it sync
is
up?
really about the everything. I've never tested that.
Okay.
Because I'm really just indifferent to The Wizard of Oz. It's the movie in color from 1938.
I like the movie, but I like the movie. I think I like it more because I grew up with parents who loved it, and I watched it.
Did you have the presented by Tide 50th anniversary VHS cassette? It would be a Carolina Blue VHS box.
I think
with booklet built into the box.
No, I don't know if we had that one, but we had the Gone with the Wind box set thing with the hobnobbery going on,
and whatever have you.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's oh, good. Here's movie and here's stuff. Never got around to looking up the stuff, and now it's 30 years later. Does that tape even still work? That media degrades over time. Kayla was going through stuff the other day that there was a VHS tape that shipped with her knives. Hey, do you think this is worth anything? Look it up. Let's see. I've got 2 current listings for $12 with no bids, and an unsold one for $4. No. No. All right. Let me look up the name of this and see if it lives on YouTube. It does. Same guys, same knives, requisite amount of VHS grain. Yeah. This is worthless.
YouTube doesn't degrade; the comments section does.
I'm not here for the comments.
What I've meant to tell you is, in lieu of having a toy to spend money on, I got the shift knob, and I finally. All right, so if you ever Top tip for everybody listening and watching, if you need a new window switch in your car, and you go to eBay, and you see anything from Switch Doctor, do not buy anything from Switch Doctor. Just buy the OEM one and spend the extra money, because you'll buy your Switch Doctor one, and the lights will be a different color than your stock lights, and then one of the switches will break after 6 months. Remember, my back passenger window, I had to reach over because of the thing. I just ordered an OEM one, and I found a used one, and it was in perfect condition for $50, and I just bought it, shipped, complete, the pictures and everything. It looked brand new. So it's
a gray instead of a black or something like that.
Yeah, it's the same. The Switch Doctor one is the same. What the Switch Doctor one is like a refurb. They take a broken one and fix it, and they don't fix it that good, actually. Surprisingly, for $18 shipped, I should have known better.
I'm not sending my Nintendo Switch when it gets broken.
Hey-o.
It's fine.
Cannonball Creek Brewing Company's Trump hands. I guess that means they're
thimbles.
Like that. I'm a thimble kind of man.
Probably the most off-color game I've purchased lately was Tonight We Riot, where you go around and fight police. That game's really hard. I only got to the 3rd level.
I'm genuinely considering getting Lev, Gene, and Brian Baker together and thus learning nothing but Rage Against the Machine tunes and showing up at a rally, plugging up somewhere random, and just jamming the fuck out. Coming out to testify. That's what I would come out to. You remember
you and what screaming? I remember all the guys. Yes, they're rad.
I can,
but that, yeah. If you're not playing at all, this is going to guarantee you're not singing for another season.
I can.
That's my running gag at karaoke. I can do The Darkness about once a season. I believe in a thing called love.
Yeah.
that all the nuts get up to here because so are my canoes.
You have to release. You have to, instead of forcing it out, you have to release it. And I know that's.
Don't say gently.
No, it's.
I'm going to punch the next Morris Jenkins truck I see because I hate those ads so much.
Yeah, you have to release your voice.
The shit is on or off. There's no gently about it.
Yeah, if it doesn't, it shouldn't hurt when you do anything vocally. If it hurts, you're doing something wrong. So, I can.
Only my pride.
The brewery, Geriatric Hipster Club. That might be the name, actually. It doesn't say
that happens to me in a year and a half, right?
It's
a jerk bat over 40,
aged in bourbon barrels with orange peel and spices, from Orange County, California. I didn't know the brewery was from there. The evil twin, Ryan and the Gosling.
Ooh, they've got several Ryans there. I don't see what my future brother-in-law has to do with any of this.
All right.
Speaking of, he just got a new job at the turn of the month, so he had to go clean for a while to do so.
Oh, my goodness. New England Brewing Company, Gandhi Bot. Oh, my God, look at the label. It's Gandhi doing the robot.
That's
fantastic.
Gandhi as robot doing the robot.
Thank you very much, Gandhi Roboto. I don't know what style that is. I just know that I need it in my life. We need to pour that, actually, too. I guess after Pathological Lager again. Polygamy Porter. I think I've had Polygamy Porter.
I think that was the one that got banned in Utah because it's Utah.
But yeah, Optimus Prime.
Only the Mormons in Mexico are allowed to be polygamous now.
Optimus Prime from Ruckus Brewing Company. It's so weird on this laptop. You scroll down to go down, which makes more sense. On Emily's laptop, you scroll up to go down because it's a Mac. I know what it means.
You're not a fucking airplane.
I know what the idea behind what Mac did is that you're grabbing something and moving up, and it pulls the thing down. But come on, man.
There's probably some way to reverse it along the way, and I didn't even know it could do that. So, way to go, discovering what this 11-year-old laptop can do.
Yellow Snow IPA from Rogue Ales and Spirits. Blitzkrieg Hops Double IPA from Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company.
Nice.
There's Hauling Oats again. Circumcision Ale from Schmaltz Brewing Company.
Oh, nice. That's the one that makes the Hebrew Ale.
Oh, my God. Look at
Brian's
the label.
Brian's a big fan of them.
How awesome is that? Circumcision Ale. April Fools, for real.
That scene out of Men in Tights. The lady's gonna love it. Can I get 2?
you stupid.
Yeah, nip the tip.
Sun King Brewery, Stupid Sexy Flanders.
You've heard of Oakley Dokley, right?
Yes, and they're
the
horrible.
Ned Flanders, it's so bad.
The white spritzer. It's fucking horrible. Steve, we gotta
be better visual, and yes,
we gotta break into this. You pop it, I pour it.
Okay.
Actually, so do we do our music topic while we're doing this, or do we do our car topic? I'm thinking car first. What do you think? Let's do that. Steve and I are going to do a defunct car episode. Defunct brand, right?
Yes.
The defunct brand from 19...
Yeah, if we did defunct models, we'd be here till July.
What else do you have
Hey,
going
remember
on?
the Venza?
That's a horrible name for anything. How could you look at a car and go, Venza?
Hey, it's back.
What?
Apparently it's returning as a hybrid.
Even worse.
Like that and the Sienna minivan will be like a Turbo 4 V6 hybrid, something
Everything's
strange.
going turbo. What's funny because everything was turbo in the 80s. And then it was NA, and now it's not.
Yep.
Steve, we are drinking Cigar City Coolidge.
Coolidge?
You're the one that does this.
brandy barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout with raisins, orange peel, pineapple, cardamom, nutmeg, cinnamon, and lactose by Cigar City Brewing. Oh wait, there's more. You hold in your hand concrete evidence of overt collusion between Florida's Cigar City Brewing and Russia's As Fuck Brew. Foolish. AF. A brandy barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout inspired by traditional Russian Easter bread. Brewed with raisins, orange peel, pineapple, nutmeg, cinnamon, this unique flavored stout just like it was pulled out of your babushka's oven on Pashka morning.
I make waffle. Who want waffle?
I forgot to make waffle. Oh, crap shit.
The crap shit I brought from Group X, that was a Saudi Arabian rap group. They were hilarious. That was pre-YouTube.
Oh, my goodness. YouTube was what, 05?
Good girl, yes. Bad girl, no. Good girl, yes. Bad girl, no. I hope she doesn't try to break my window.
Steve, I hope this is good because it was from Cigar City in Tampa, courtesy of Mrs. Brittany, Miss Brittany Cosby.
She's her own woman.
Yeah, with another kitty now.
Yes, I saw.
From Miss Brittany Cosby.
The cat's name is TBD. What a strange name, lady.
From Tampa. This is a $35 bottle, so I hope it's good. Oh my God, smell.
Da.
Oh, wow. Okay.
$12 Tampa? I'd make driving 10.
Or, no, I'm going to talk to Joe and Anna Hala and their new brewery.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, next you collaborate with your people,
Yeah.
I have an idea. Or I need to make friends with Oscar at the Oscar Blues of Brevard.
That place is rad. This was bottled... No way. December 18th, 2018. So it's even... It doesn't even say the ABV on it.
Sufficient.
There's no ABV of this. Now, I have to know, because it tastes like it's biting back, so...
Mm-hmm. I'm going to guess 10.
12.3, and then an and%.
Whoops.
What the fuck? It's 12.3 and...
It's typographical error. Nothing happened. You'll go fuck self now.
Inspired by Russian Easter bread. That sounds like something we need to make. And by the way, we get to do the old tradition of going to the Mexican place after this, probably.
First time in 3 months. Mrs. is very freaked out about going out in public.
Yeah.
Eh.
This is great, but is it $35 a bottle?
34.
$33.90, $34.01?
Fine.
All right, cool. So defunct car brands. Before we even look it up, we could probably name most of them. Are we just doing USA, or are we doing worldwide?
At least whatever's sold here would be far easier than trying to say what was points elsewhere. I could think of at least a couple, and one outside of our scope of 1980 plus.
Yeah, we were doing cars we grew up with. So, I mean, you were born you were 81.
Yeah,
and I'm 86.
I missed 82 by 35 days.
Yeah, my sister's birthday's tomorrow. She's an 82 baby.
Happy holiday!
Yay! I need to call her.
I had a 50-50 shot of getting that right.
Yeah, Phaedra's is July 23rd. Greg's is December the 6th.
Funny, my brother's is the 22nd, and his wedding date was the 7th of December.
Ah,
because
nice.
They got married on Pearl Harbor Day. They just had a half anniversary. He just bought a bicycle for $32. Like, yeah, it's great, but it's going to need tires and a seat and bar wraps
and a handlebar
lights.
and a body.
Cool. This is turning into my car purchasing experience. Yeah. It's like, bought a car. It needs a gas tank gasket and mirrors and a glove box and seat covers. Anywho.
Steve, we didn't. I didn't even go through all the beer news yet.
What?
So before we get into the car,
What? Let's get derailed? How dare you?
oh my god, this is great. We're still doing beer news, and it's 50 minutes into this episode.
Neat.
Oh my goodness! All right, so we'll make this quick. Cracker Barrel is now testing beer and wine sales at locations.
All I saw was some angry right-winger. It's like,
You're gonna be having beer in my beloved Cracker Barrel? What's not just serving heroin?
it's like, I don't think that's how this works,
Yes,
Earl.
I want heroin pancakes. Right, fucking.
I want chicken and heroines. That looks neat, but that stings a bit. How do the rings upon my face?
They're actually non-existent.
Interesting.
Yes, very. You have soft yet supple skin. Probably.
I did moisturize with my hemp gel beforehand, so there's that. Because that's the thing. Go to Ollie's, folks. They got hemp on the cheap. They got hand sanitizer on the cheap.
You think
masks on the cheap too?
You think there are some Karens in Cracker Barrel now going, I asked for my eggs over easy, and now they're blah, 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 blah. Wait till she gets a couple glasses of wine in her. She'll either be way worse or just not give a fuck. I'd pay to see
Are
drunk
you
people.
aware of the phrasing of somebody being extra?
Yeah, I've heard of that. It could go either way.
Them motherfuckers gonna get extra.
Mm-hmm.
Them white bitches gonna get extra on some white wine.
I don't, because white wine is disgusting. That makes my
like
apple
Moscato.
cider vinegar drinking seem preferable.
I like Moscato,
Yeah, the sweet whites are good, but
Chardonnay, and such. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Pinot Noir, no.
My
Caitlin's maybe very cab savvy, and the oddly enough, African rock cab sav was super dry.
African rock?
It was a South African wine sold at Aldi for $5 a bottle.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I don't even like wine,
was
but $5 a bottle.
Super dry. This is the opposite of the sangria.
Yep, this is last. So, after Cracker Barrel, Australian TikTok star, I cannot believe I just fucking had to say that, Jacob Clapp's girlfriend switched his beer to non-alcoholic beer, and it took him 10 drinks to notice. I guarantee you, you put a beer in front of us, we could tell you if it was non-alcoholic or not. Would you take that bet?
Sure.
I would take that bet. I can't believe there are TikTok stars. That makes me very sad.
Caitlin's brother-in-law is kind of hooked on that.
It's funny to watch, but
You said inane awful strangely.
it makes me feel better about myself. I'm like, oh, my hair's falling out when I look in the mirror, and I go, you know what? No, I'm actually okay. I'll just go to TikTok and see what's going on and go, oh, at least my teeth aren't falling out.
Can't want that. There it goes. I was really happy when Vine died. Oh shit, it's back and it's worse.
There were some funny Vines, but TikTok is just sad. Most of it just makes me sad to see them because people are just watching it and making fun of them, which is not really the. And by the way, TikTok is made by some 14-year-old Chinese kid in a basement who should be studying to be a doctor. So,
nope. Is he getting paid?
probably not. Probably not. Yeah, the same as everybody else.
Oh, okay.
In Soviet China. What?
It's not Soviet.
That's all the beer news. Heroin. I'm looking down. I see Pappy Von Penguin, Geriatric Hipster Club, and heroin pancakes. There's just too many good options. Now the car episode. But without even looking anything up, we could probably name most of the defunct car brands from 1980. I would have said
Onward.
Alpha, but
Onward.
Alpha came back.
Yeah, the ones no longer sold. And, for what's worth, we could throw this in too, that Alpha and Maserati and Fiat all fall in that same realm and are, frankly, all doing poorly.
I don't think Maserati was ever defunct.
They didn't. Well, not defunct here.
Just
They
didn't sell in the
they
US.
didn't sell in the U.S. They had a good break from the late '80s until 12 years ago,
Yeah.
15 years ago. Alpha departed in 95, and coworkers are like baffled that like yes, they did sell here prior.
Mm-hmm.
The last one sold here was the 164 that looked like the box it came in, and the Milano before that looked even more so. Fiat departed about 1980.
Mm-hmm. I thought you could get a Spider up to 94.
That was
in
the Alpha.
US.
That was the Alpha.
That's
That's
right.
What they would call the Graduate.
You're right.
That was similar to the one from the movie The Graduate 25 years before.
Better than the Graduate Pub. You remember that place? Yikes.
I think I got COVID there before COVID was a thing.
I was at Bar Charlotte one night, and
It
they
was
had
co-ed, whatever.
Bar Charlotte was like the graduation from The Graduate, and there was a girl naked on the bar dancing, and nobody did anything about it. Nobody was touching her. I'm glad they didn't do anything about it. But
Something got burned in your brain.
the thing
It's
is,
what I call awesomeful around here,
it is,
because
and as
awesome's
long
not as fun.
as long as the young lady was not assaulted in it, but you know that alcohol and testosterone at places like that just
Yep.
don't mix.
Yep.
So it's just not a good idea to let something like that go on. I don't miss that place. I don't miss clubs anyway. Like, I always wanted.
I like to say pubs, not clubs.
Yeah,
That was something Gray and I made up a long time ago. It's hardly going to be an original thought, but I just want to drink. I don't want to go dancing. I don't want to see the rest of these people.
no, like if I want to meet, before I met Emily, if I wanted to meet a Mrs. Holt for the evening, I would go there. If I wanted to meet a Mrs. Holt for the rest of my life, I wouldn't go there at all. And so I met my Mrs. Holt for the rest of my life at
Das fliegende Untertasse.
yes. Back to cars.
What?
But let's go alphabetical. Let's do that.
Oh, wow.
So in A, I can't think of any A's that were
In
sold
the
from 1980
correct time frame.
because Austin Healey is defunct. But that way, bye many a moon ago.
Avanti. What was
That's
the
true.
last bastard child of Studebaker?
That's true. There was an
that,
Avanti.
Like, Studebaker got snuffed in the 60s, but the Avanti kept being built somewhere into the 80s or 90s, and with square headlights, it looks way worse.
Yet I didn't hate it though. I did not hate that car. I just need to look at it again.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you giving me Avanti tile and stone in Fort Mill, South Carolina? Yep, I didn't hate it. It's not a horrible car, but
It's unique.
yeah, you catch a unique rabbit.
The unique up on them.
Yes.
Thanks, Josh.
I can't think of any other A's.
Alpha's stint. So
Mhm.
in that time frame, they departed, but hey, they're back and
That GTV I
gonna
showed you.
break you.
Oh,
Party.
Yeah, that's. Emily's like, but I thought you said alphas are unreliable. I'm like, but look at it.
But
Thomas's dad has a Julia. Did you know that?
no, is this replacing the Jaguar?
No, it did
Yep.
replace the Jaguar about 2 years ago.
I'm unaware of what other Steve's up to.
Yep.
And if I met him, I was probably hammered at the time, so there's that.
It's what's funny is in our wedding pictures, Steve Blaylock is in every one of them, and he has this look on his face, like he just really doesn't want to be there.
Oh, okay. It's like disappointment, tired,
he just doesn't
wanna...
want to be there. He has that look on his. But it's funny because as Thomas gets older, he looks more like his dad, and he knows it, and he sounds like his dad too. He hates it. I'm like, hey, I look and sound like my dad now. I don't sound like my dad, but I look just like him. So we got B, and Buick and Bentley
Buick's
are still
not
going.
dead.
Buick's not dead. Buick and Bentley are still going.
No, I got to roll the clock back a little further to the mid '70s. Bricklin.
That was a coupe, wasn't it? The
It was.
Bricklin coupe.
It
B
looked-
or IKLIN.
from the man who started importing Subarus and then the Yugo to North America.
That's right.
But they were long since out of production, so that gets outside the time frame. But that was my immediate thought because that was a fascinating car because going doors
Of course.
that were electrically actuated. Therefore, if your battery's dead, you're stuck.
Yeah. Back to
It looked like kind of like a 80s 300ZX before that was a thing,
yeah.
only with a bad nose job.
I don't know why I just thought of it since I have a Jeep product, but AMC didn't make cars into the 80s, did they?
Yeah, they did. AMC was still going till about the mid 80s, and then the brand was completely snuffed by 87, and then any exit products either lived on as Jeeps proper or Eagles.
Okay. Yeah, I've completely forgot about that because it's funny that
And
some of the modern like 90s inline sixes on the Jeep still had AMC stamped on the
Because
block.
it is what it was, and but yeah, whatever had been AMC's became Eagle branded, and it became this weird amalgamation of AMC product, Renault, and Mitsubishi
Yes.
as they were being all absorbed by Chrysler.
Mm-hmm. Which was its own Dodge, Jeep, Plymouth, Chrysler. That was all its own thing until Daimler was a thing, and now it's
and
owned
then,
by Fiat.
Yeah, the idea was that Daimler is going to help Chrysler get better. Instead, it made Daimler worse.
Evidently, though,
See also the 96 E-Class.
the new Cherokees, the new Grand Cherokees, not the
I gotta say,
ugly ones.
at least the Cherokees became less heinous.
Yeah, but the new Grand Cherokees, evidently the interior is like super fucking nice. Like,
They don't suck. We see a lot of those.
yeah, don't think I didn't think about having not a Hellcat, but like an SRT8 Grand Cherokee would be a really cool daily driver. But I wonder how much a 6-speed swap would be on that. Only one in the U.S.
Would be
from Challenger.
similar engine from Challenger, therefore similar.
Stick would be that long. You get a short throw shifter and it'd still be like this.
It'd be on par with my car.
I wouldn't care. Honestly, if you would have told me, if you would have asked me to pick you up today, I was going to let you drive the Jeep back home.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so just if I was going to let you drive one of my cars, and I told you I could, and that car is on the West Coast now, might as well let you drive the other one.
Hey, if anything, I've driven an S2000 briefly, but yeah,
Never driven a Cherokee.
Just to move yours out of the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Sean's driven it because I couldn't walk.
Sure.
B.
Anything in that
Bentley,
time
Buick,
frame? No,
Bugatti,
no.
which is never really defunct.
It's kind of like it came and went. Like there was the EB110 that popped up years before the Veyron, but
it was like somebody.
at least it was a sleeping giant at the time. That's like, hey, let's build the fastest car ever. All right, give it 20 years. Hey, let's build the fastest car ever. So by proxy, I'd say that one works because they spent an awful long time in between building very fast stuff.
Yeah, but it looks like somebody crashed a McLaren F1 into the back of a Diablo, and that's not a bad thing. It just is the thing. So on to C. Chrysler, Cadillacs are still a thing.
Nope.
Citroen was never over here.
Citroen was, but I think before 1980 they left.
I wouldn't count that.
Yeah.
What's the coupe? The Citroen coupe that looks really cool. That's overseas.
The CX something or other.
Yeah. I like that. I like that one. But owning a French car over here where they never sold it, boy. I mean, even the Skylines and such, like you can get parts for it, but that thing.
Alex Roy, previous Cannonball record holder, had the Citroen SM. It was a front drive Maserati engined 5-speed French car from 1973.
That's fucking cool.
It was a gorgeous thing and wound up selling for $50,000, but It was this incredibly complicated thing to keep running, and he was concerned that his usual mechanic was going to retire and or die. Therefore, it was time to divest. So instead, he's still rocking his father's 911 from the mid-'80s.
Alex Roy looks like if you meshed... Man, what's the name of the guy from An Idiot Abroad?
Carl
Pilkington with Moby. Carl Pilkington and Moby. That's what Alex Roy looks like. Evidently, they have the Cannonball record now because somebody actually beat
the COVID thing.
Yeah.
Because hey, if nobody's on the road, why not?
You and I should do it and try to do it. Not the fastest. What should we try to do the Cannonball Run in?
Yeah, they call it the 2904, and apparently the Subaru Loyale was the car of choice for that one. That's like the last of the old school tiny Subarus.
We need to do it in style. We need to do a Cannonball Run, not about speed, but about...
An Acura Vigor.
Yeah. Or a Legend Coupe.
Ooh.
With the 6-speed. How rare
it's
of a bird
front-wheel
is...
drive. Yeah, but just look at it.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, even the sedans of the second generation don't suck.
I miss when Acura, arguably...
Interesting stuff. That said, a new-ish MDX doesn't suck. However, it is nothing I'm looking for.
The new TLX is gorgeous. But...
We'll still just his dad's car.
But you and I both would rather do this than this. I don't care how... Sorry, Mac. Sorry, Sean. I don't care how much faster this is. I don't want to do it. I don't want to play a video game. If I'm buying an exotic and I'm going around the track as fast as possible, I want to do this.
I say stick all the things, so I'm often disappointed at work.
Fair. I think C's done. I can't think of any other C's.
Yeah, I've got to roll the clock a little further back to do that. D's easy.
Daewoo.
Yes, and something else with Bricklin doors.
DeLorean.
Yes.
What was the first year of DeLorean?
81.
And then the last year was what, 88?
3. They were very short-lived. They sold 9,000 cars, and apparently one of the front left or front right fender is really difficult to come by because when production was halted, they were building the parts in batches. So it'd be, this body panel, that body panel, that body panel, this going kind of clockwise through it.
Yeah.
So like your passenger front fender was out of production by the time like John got busted.
That was
for Coke, and that was a downfall of the company. Like some of the employees kept the company going for a while, and now all assets were sold to a company in Houston. So that's all being handled, and they're now in the process of making new stock for old cars, stock for new cars, being able to sell new cars from old parts, new cars from new parts. That whole 300 per year limited volume type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they're still using that engine, but at least they're squeezing 200 horses out of it instead of 130.
Very
It was
anemic.
never going to be a fast car, and the chassis couldn't support the power. As much as you hate RCR, they had an LS4 swapped on there.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. And, it's by then it's appropriately engined, but it's a double Y-frame frame on the car that is just gonna twist more than my new ride does now.
I was gonna say, you'll get a lot of grip making it that heavy in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, after about 55 miles per hour,
gonna wheelie. Be funny if you said 88.
you're gonna ET to the moon.
Wrong Spielberg joint.
DeLorean was always very pretty, but just anemic.
I could get a Scirocco. I can get an Impulse.
I like the
I could
Impulse.
suffer an Alpha GTV 6
Mm-hmm.
to have something that looks the same for a fraction of the cost.
Have you seen the gloss black DeLorean? Oh my god, that's so pretty. But I like the way I love the way that thing looks. But
It was real shocking the first I saw a DeLorean in the wild.
mm-hmm.
It wasn't my word at the time, but it doesn't have all that shit on it. It's a very clean looking car otherwise.
Yeah, it was. It definitely looked better, not stainless steel, but D.
It's
We're
not
still in
painted,
D.
it's stain.
De Tomaso, but that was not even close to being 80.
That's a case of they were sold here in the 70s, but sold and built points elsewhere. I think through the mid 90s in Europe still.
Jeez.
Which is real funny when we went to one of the Cars and Coffees in Cornelius, and guy rolls up in a De Tomaso Pantera. So I asked him, like, so do you have a Windsor or Cleveland in there? Because either way, it's a Ford 351.
Right.
Like, just which side of the border you're on.
Yep.
Are you north because you're U.S. or south because you're Canada?
I love
The only place that works.
If I got a De Tomaso Pantera, my license plate would say FKNGSTHSTL fucking hostile. After D, we got E and E.
I thought it'd be 10CBAG.
All right, I got the 10.
Dime bag.
Oh yeah. Eagle.
Because you're gonna be dead on stage.
And we got Eagle.
Yep.
And
That was the Geo of Chrysler.
by the way, the Talon always looked better.
Mm-hmm.
But you always
But
thought
the Laser was the cooler name.
the Laser is always the cooler name. But you thought the 3000 GT looked better than the Stealth.
Yes.
I like the Stealth better.
That's the one time I would go against the flip-up headlight option.
Fair. I like the wrap around the wind. I like the around the windshield or the rear glass. I like that spoiler, which the Eagle had. I didn't like the 95, 96, the duckbill. I like the big one. I like the big one on the Talon. Although the Talon came with arguably one of the worst colors ever fitted to a car.
Which you could buy my car in, the Atomic Hurl.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vibe had something not far off of that either.
No, it was
they fucked up.
It was green pearl hurl.
Funny you mentioned that. There were two IMs that rolled through yesterday, a red 6-speed and a Hurl colored automatic. So it was real funny seeing the red one go through. It was like, I just bought one of those. Like, really? That's cool. I was like, is it? Yeah, it's in the parking lot. Just mine's got twice the miles and it's way more scratched and dented, but yes.
Call me next time, and I'll take it for a test drive, and I'll drive it to your house, and we'll swap out the good body panel.
Yeah, the double security checkpoints will have none of it. It's like, hey, they're hiring now, so
don't think I haven't considered a career change.
I want to make less doing more, because
I'm not
that's
sure
what
I'll
it's going to
do
be.
more.
They're looking for detailers, and the numbers have dwindled greatly in the detail ranks, so it's a struggle trying to get the numbers met now.
I kind of regret not applying at Foreign Cars Italia.
Funny you mentioned that. Back in the day, I remember seeing an 03 Toyota Matrix XRS listed at the Charlotte FCI for like $13,000 at the time. It was red, and being an 03, it had all the tacky body paneling on it, but it had the simpler version of the engine that would probably become a 2-stroke as well. But
yeah,
that was a fun car. It was getting a bit time bomby, but that was a fun car.
After E, from E, we got Eagle.
F.
Fisker?
Oh, totally.
Those were so cool.
That was so neat.
I love the Karma. But now it's just called the Karma. They keep they're making cars now, but it's called the Karma.
That you couldn't name it or Fisker.
No.
Man, that was
so pretty.
Yeah. Somehow they managed to take modern BMW styling and make it look good. Unlike the new what do I keep calling it? The NOS 4 A2.
What you don't need that big of. It looks like it has really huge buck teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I like the BMW kidney bean grill.
Every time like someone posts something about that, I just post the Nosferatu poster.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the crowd knows what's up.
Kidney bean
I never
grill.
even saw it, but it's like that. Yeah, I'm gonna post for you a 95-year-old movie about a vampire with serious beaver teeth.
Kidney bean grill, awesome. Always will be.
Yep.
Bugs Bunny or Gary Busey teeth grill?
No,
not so good.
Like, if a kidney's on dialysis, does it get bigger or smaller?
Well, they don't call it live-alysis, do they?
Nope. It's big and gross.
Well, that's all for F. I mean,
Geo. Yeah.
The Prism,
so
the
was,
Storm, the Tracker.
Yep.
That's it?
Sounds right.
But they made a Chevy Storm. No, they made a Chevy Tracker.
The Chevy Tracker, Chevy Prism,
and Prism, but they never made a Chevy Storm.
Yeah.
It was just a Geo Storm.
That, and I guess it was only early on they had that. I don't think it lasted the entire run of it.
My buddy in high school, Stephen Honeycutt, had a white Geostorm hatchback.
That's a
with
rare
the
bird.
stick.
The bubble butt.
Yep.
That was such a weird looking car.
And his license plate, I think, said Stormin. And he always parked beside me. His was white, and my Starion was white, and we always parked beside each other.
Was he a fan of Schwarzkopf?
No, but it was funny because we were identical height, weight, and build. We were like 6 feet tall, 185 pounds because we lifted weight. Like I've weighed bye-bye to all that. But we were exactly the same height and weight and build. And like we loved SpongeBob. We took weightlifting together. We were weightlifting partners. And we it was so cool. I think he still lives in Albemarle, but that dude was cool as fuck, man. I miss that guy. I need to send him a message.
Was he related to Kenny Honeycutt in Greensboro?
No, and he
had a neighbor of that name that was just like the older cool dude down the street that had a generous NES collection. He drove a Blazer Jimmy back in the day.
Ooh, a Blimmy.
Yep.
Jazer?
One of the S10 based ones.
He,
It's a forever established that as cool car. Never a good car, but cool car. I hated the one I was given, but that's a different story.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
already been covered.
I miss that guy. I need to send him a message. But there's like Honeycutts with an O and Honeycutts with a U.
U.
And he was a U. The girl I had a crush on in high school was an O. And her dad was the high school girls' varsity coach. She didn't give me the time of day. She ended up dating somebody else.
She never wore a watch, though, so it was difficult.
It happens. I think I made out okay. She's a Jesus freak. Anyway, so
What would people think?
I don't know. It'd be like my mom and dad's relationship, where the one's an atheist and one's a hardcore Christian. I digress, Steve. After G, we have H, and we have
Holden's proper were never sold here. However, we've had a lot of Holdens that were sold here under the Chevrolet and Pontiac monikers.
True,
So
but I don't know if that counts.
Yeah. Hey, I'm stretching plenty today. I feel wonderful.
Yo, go, girl.
Let's get carried away.
I is obvious.
Isuzu.
Pontiac, Buick, GMC. Isuzu too. You remember those commercials?
Yeah.
Emily had no idea what I was talking about when I did that.
It's got to live on YouTube.
I'm sure it does.
Like something about a guy having trouble saying Isuzu. It was like, that's okay, Joe. I can't say Chevrolet.
I miss Isuzu. I like the rodeo. I like the name rodeo.
As much as I knocked it, the car that had been my sister's that became my brother's first car, the rodeo,
Yes.
was a tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it was teal. It was a 94 in teal.
That's best.
It was 2-wheel drive and wrong transmission, but it was teal and it just worked. It was a third seat motherfucker, but it was even funnier when that was sold as a Honda.
I can't believe Honda said, okay, we're going to build, we want you to build the car for, I can't believe they did that.
And for Acura, the
Oh my
SLX.
Yeah, good luck finding one of those now.
You'd have better luck finding I guess by then it was a third gen 2-door Trooper. Because that was the thing.
That
as well.
and the Isuzu Amigo. And the Isuzu... What was the...
And then they released the Rodeo Sport.
Yep, and
was the later version of it. The Axiom was so cool looking.
The Axiom was cool.
And the Vehicross is its own weird thing.
The Vehicross was like the off-road version of an Aztec.
Yeah.
It was ugly, it was functional, and nobody bought it. Every now and then, I'll see a Vehicross, and I'll lose my shit when I see it. And Emily's like, why? It's just an SUV. I'm like, no, it's not just an SUV.
Yeah, go ahead. Find something else that looks anything like this.
There's nothing. That's why I miss Isuzu.
They took chances, man. Like, even their standard cars were entertaining.
They were.
Between the Impulse and the Stylus.
I like the Impulse.
That was a good-looking little, like, 4-door whatchamahoo's-it.
Even rarer than the original Impulse would be the Impulse that looked just like a Geo.
Yeah.
That was even rarer.
Yeah, the later ones.
Yeah.
That had the round headlights instead of the square ones.
Yes. And then we have J.
Jaguar somehow still kicking.
Jeep is always going to be kicking. Jensen.
That would have been prior, and I don't even know if they were actually sold here properly.
Not even close. There's no way they were.
Oh man, the Instructor's so rad.
That's so cool. I think we're done with J.
All right. K. Kaiser snuffed it way earlier.
K's done.
Yeah, all right.
L.
Lancia might have been sold here by 80. Remember, they left Britain because they rusted too hard there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Lambo, Lincoln, Land Rover, they're all...
Lincoln, yeah, that's dead.
No, not now.
Shit, no, I was getting confused with the next letter. Mercury!
Mercury's dead. And loving it. Wait, they're not Dracula.
That was Leslie.
I love that movie. So great. I love Leslie Nielsen. Rest him. He died a long time ago. 05, 06.
And it wasn't till like he was in his 60s that he went from being a serious actor to being comedic actor.
Yeah, and I think he made the right choice, actually.
Totally.
Were MGs after 80?
MGs, I think were sold here till about 80. I think by then it was kind of realizing that they're cantankerous and difficult, and there were different safety and emissions regulations then, and that could have very well did them in, much like Fiat departing in 80.
It was Lancia that had the like cars catching on fire. I think that's why they quit.
Yeah, between that and rusting so badly you could hear it.
That was it. It wasn't fire. It was rust. The other
MGs, Fiats. Yeah, that sounds about right.
If it's European and it's not Porsche, it's probably not reliable.
Yeah.
N, we got Nissan. And
No, we didn't say Datsun earlier, but that was just a name change.
Well, Datsun didn't even. No, Datsun was until the.
Datsun was till 83.
Yeah, because then it was.
Then it became Datsun by Nissan,
Mhm.
and then going full Nissan earlier.
Yeah, we didn't say Datsun, but we got O in that Oldsmobile.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of any other O's. Were Opals sold in the U.S.?
Earlier.
The Cadet?
Mid-70s, yeah. Or the GT, the tiny Corvette.
That is such a cool fucking car. I would love to have that one.
The slide arm to activate the headlights. Yeah.
Do a resto mod on that and just have like a modern LS2 in it. That'd be a hilarious way to die.
Yeah, I see your flying Miata and raise you this thing.
A dying Miata. Oldsmobile and Opal and
Plymouth
in the piece.
and Pontiac.
Plymouth and Pontiac. Chrysler and GM.
Which is funny because Plymouth became the bargain basement brand and had been pretty seriously neglected in its later years. Pontiac was having way more fun than the rest of the everything.
The Pontiacs always looked better.
Yeah.
Than the GM, than the Chevrolet counterparts. The Firebird looked better than Camaro. The Sunbird looked better than the Cavalier.
The Vibe looked better than the Matrix.
The Vibe definitely looked better than the Matrix.
At least in the first gen. Sorry, Chris.
I don't think Chris can speak in English. He only speaks in pictures and memes. Even when I've met him in person.
He'll send us a frowny face. It's okay.
Yeah. If he even watches.
I don't know. He's one of my meme lords, so whatever.
Panaz.
Ooh.
Here today, gone today.
Yeah, that was about as stillborn as Esperanto, the language.
Oh, fun fact. My friend Grant Barnes lives in, we might as well just say Atlanta, because Alpharetta means nothing to anybody else. The Panaz factory was in Georgia. And he was working on Esperantis when they first came out.
Pardon?
Yeah. And he was in the factory building Esperantis. And he's a body man. He's not an engine guy, never was. I met him in the Starion group. And he was in the factory. And he's like, this is not, the gaps are not right. The panel gaps are not good. He's like, something's wrong here. We need to fix this. And they said, here, just take a mallet to it and make it fit. This is in how much was an Esperanti? $75,000 in the late 90s.
$130 now. Yeah, that's a lot of money for something quite fucked.
He left very shortly after that, but for a little while, Grant Barnes was one of the body men at Panaz working on Esperantis. Which is hilarious.
I'll get back to you when I discover Alpharetta. That almost does sound Italian, though.
No, oh, wait. Alpharetta. Now it sounds Italian. That one fights back. That one's kicking my ass more than the old-fashioned did. You?
Still upright.
And we have margaritas to go.
Oh, dear.
Peugeots were briefly sold in the U.S.
Yeah, they kept going 70s, 80s until about 91 with the MI 504, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That looked strangely similar to the aforementioned Alpha 164. This very boxy-looking thing. And by then, they were probably snuffed. Like the 504 was the quintessential, like, angry-looking Peugeot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had more modern styling after that. You will never find one of those, but that was the last car sold in the States from Peugeot by 1991. But by then, Camrys and Accords were picking up the low end. and the 3 Series was more popular in the high end.
Mm-hmm.
And it was dead center of the both of them, but their reputation was quite damaged by then. But I think it was in 91, that's when they left.
You want the French making your wine, your food, and your love. You don't want the French making your cars. Sorry, Karin. Did I tell you that? I don't know if I told you on the episode a couple
I don't think
of.
she's making cars, so I think Sean's in good hands.
Probably. Did I tell you? I guess it was about a year ago. Might have been a winter of 2018. I don't remember. It was a while back. But I'm on my way to work, and I'm in the Jeep, and it's like 8 o'clock, and I had to work a mid, and I come upon a car, and I'm like,
is there a
Wait.
lion on that trunk?
that's what I look. I was like, that looks like a Rampart lion. And I speed up to catch it before I hit my exit. It's a Peugeot 206, a modern Peugeot.
Wait a minute. So
And-
was it Florida plated?
No, it had a North Carolina plate, and I think what it was probably a military exemption from a guy
Okay.
stationed in France. But I'm like, I know. And I pulled up the picture when I parked. I parked, I pulled it up, and I'm like, that's exactly what I saw. It was a Peugeot 206.
That reminds me of the last event I worked at Quail Hollow.
Mm-hmm.
Going to it, there was a Seat in front of me. The Spanish Volkswagen
Seat.
is
Seat,
sitting in
Seat.
front of me, and going to there, working with 2 guys that have E39s. So
What year was that?
the 96 to 04s, the really pretty BMWs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those were pretty.
The both of them have them, so they're talking that all night. So I'm just listening to them chat, like in between doing any real work. That the first 2 months of this year valeting was quite entertaining. Before swapping jobs and then all hell breaking loose.
Ooh.
That said, Ben, the guy that would should be going to Seattle, so it was like he was interested in the S2000, but someone already there beat him to it, because this is the one that's got an 01 540i as a daily driver,
Oh.
a right-hand drive 1JZ Supra,
Mm-hmm.
is part and parcel owner of some right-hand drive FD, and his parents' car that he frequently drove is a V8 4Runner.
I just had a great idea.
Bring him on.
We should have bring him on. I want a right-hand drive FD with an LS swap.
This is the best, worst idea. I like this a lot.
American-made V8.
Yes.
Um,
That's incredible.
We're in Q.
No one's paying attention what the hell Quavali's doing. Like,
Oh, the
when or
Mangusta.
if. Uh-huh.
Yeah. What do you want next? You grab the last one. I'll grab this one while we're doing R.
Surprise me.
Don't tell me that, buddy. We're on R, though. They're still making roses.
Uh-huh. And someone's still buying them. Like, hell, I've driven a few of them. I can't go back to say overrated. It's not my thing, though.
All right, Steve. We're Florida-ing it up. Do you want Florida
Neat.
man or Florida cracker?
Crack me up.
All right. I'm Florida man today. 1,
Florida man.
2,
Florida man.
3. I think we actually did it synchronized this time. Fuck you, Sting, and your synchronicity.
1 or 2.
3. Ooh, that's good. Yours?
It'll do.
Does it taste like crackers?
It's more of a pale ale.
I was going to say Zesta
Or more,
Ritz, because there's a difference.
This is definitely more Zesta.
Cool. What letter are we on? R?
R.
Renault? Do
yeah.
they sell?
The Lacar.
Oh my God, I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
so
Yeah.
what I was mentioning earlier about the death of AMC, that Renault American Holdings got absorbed into Chrysler to become Eagle. So the Eagle Monaco or Eagle Premier was a large Renault sedan sold here.
Gotcha. By the way, the Renault Megane 2019,
And
that's handsome.
it looks like my car, and yes, it is.
That's very handsome.
That like between that and the new GTI, Toyota was onto something. Like putting whatever crazy beak on my car that looks like it. The new GTI looks like it.
Ooh, the Megane RS Trophy R. That's up my alley.
I can hear that picture.
White with white and red wheels.
We had a 500 a Barth go through today.
I like those, actually. But I like the Punta Abarth better, but we don't get that one in this country, so...
The puta?
Yeah, not
You'll
the bitch.
You go fuck yourself.
Or the sacapuntas is a pencil sharpener in Spanish. A sack of bitches.
Yeah, so by proxy, yes, Renault, that totally works. I think by 87, Renault had completely departed the U.S. market. They might have lived on a bit as Eagle, but you couldn't find a Lacar nor an Alliance after that.
They never sold Rovers here either, did they?
No. Your best bet is to get an early 80s Accord, which was sold in England as a Rover.
Really?
Yeah.
With Honda parts?
It was like Honda Accord sold in England as a Rover. So
okay.
Honda has badge hoarded themselves in both directions.
For better or for worse. I think R's done, so let's do S. And I test drove one. I loved the engine. I hated the steering and the transmission.
A Saab.
A Saab story. Hated that. We got Saab and Saturn.
Yep.
Have you driven a Saturn before?
Yeah.
When?
Bruce's.
Oh God! I have two.
She had an Ion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she had the last totally okay one,
And
except
Beth
for
had.
Beth had that.
Yeah.
Family friends had earlier ones, so they had, I think, a sedan and a wagon, so the SL and SW series back in the day, and then got the larger one later. During which they also had an inherited a 1980 yellow Chevy Citation. No, it's real funny to see the magazines backtracking them really liking that car back then, and then this is a hunk of shit. What were we thinking?
Well, Playboy Car of the Year, what, 04?
What, T-Bird?
You make mistakes. You pays your money. You take your chances.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of another car. Look,
It
PT Cruiser.
It looked a biz.
PT Cruiser got accolades, and it's a gigantic hunk of shit.
Dad really liked those. That and the original Pacifica. Have the vans taught you nothing?
The only good vans are on your sneakers if you're a skater. Actually, you know what? I do like vans.
If you have a Mazda 5.
I liked my Astro van.
I played with the idea briefly to try and find one. Those are really difficult to find with a stick, let alone the ordeal I had picking up this thing and the ordeal it's been. But now, almost 2 months and 2,000 miles in, I think we're going to be okay.
You know what Matt Farah's wife is driving now, don't you?
The Delica?
A Delica.
Hells yeah.
I would love to try to get Matt Farah on this podcast. If I did that, I think my life would be complete.
Did I tell you about the time that my comment was on the podcast and they got derailed talking about UPS vans?
Yep.
That's like I didn't care that like they just went off on a tangent. It's like, but it came back to it.
Nice.
And then I can't figure out my PayPal password to Super Chat and like update them on it.
I need
Because
to
that would be
Super
the most
Chat.
absurd thing.
Oh,
Because he likes the 2ZZ and the vibe with 2ZZ was automatic Credo. Never mind, like,
yeah.
This one's a 2-cycle and it's beat the hell. However, he really liked the Corolla that had it and was a little bit disturbed by the guy that owned said car. Like, sedans suck. However, you could get a Corolla with that. So it'd be the Matrix minus 200 pounds.
He liked
Stupid glass being heavy.
He liked the Celica GT4 that I've been pawning over. That is now
Completely sold or just still
pending.
Okay.
Still pending. He
That's
liked
that's
that
some
one.
Carvana shit right there.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't
What
know.
are we gonna do? Outbid him? Like, I'll pay you $1 extra. Like, do we prices right this?
I don't know, man. Like I look at R33
Like,
Skylines.
if sales pending, take it off your site.
I like the R33s. I like the Celicas. I don't know what I want. So far, the Jeep, 346,000 miles and counting. I don't need to I don't need anything. So I'm in a good position where I can wait. Do I want a bike? Yes. Do I want that Celica? Yes. Do I want this? Yes. I have things I want, but I need to drive things before I make decisions. So
And now that the smoke's clearing, that's more plausible than it was a month or 3 ago.
that white Aston Martin V8 Vantage I showed you,
I like that a lot.
I do too. Sean says he does not see me driving that. Could you see me getting out of Cars and Coffee in that?
Sure.
I like you, Steve.
I'm
But the
trying
thing
to like me too.
I don't know if I want to spend that much money on something though.
That at least, considering how little you may drive it.
It would hold its value.
Yeah,
I'd just be renting it until I inevitably sold it.
that at least would be another, have it, take care of it, depart with it, maybe need to change tires.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully don't need to change an ass end.
Or clutch.
And if anything, that's a really low price on it. Did you see where Texas City is?
Please tell me it's not near El Paso.
No.
Texas City. Is it near... All right, so is it in the grabby part of Texas? Is it in the spacey part? Is it in the Mexican part? Or is it in the New Orleans part?
The last.
It's in the New Orleans
It's on the
part.
close side of it.
So it's a fly-out, drive-back situation.
If you can drive to and from New Orleans, tack on another 3 hours, it's outside of Galveston. It's on the close side of Texas.
So if I buy that and I buy 2 plane tickets,
Oh my.
you and I can have a grand tour of the Gulf Coast back home
Whoop whoop.
and a V8 Vantage with the 4.7-liter V8. With
So that does have the bigger engine in it.
It does.
Ooh.
And somebody on YouTube straight piped it. So they take it to the exhaust shop. It's like, cut the mufflers. It sounded so good.
I'm sorry, I'm drooling.
Oh my God, it sounds so
yes.
good. But see, I like that thing because I'm not going to try to make it. I would buy performance parts, but I'm not going to try to make it light or anything. I'm not going to tinker with it that way because it's not made for that. It's a tour. It's comfortable. It's what I would buy it for. I had an S2000. I loved it. It's a great driver's car. It's made for canyon carving and track days, and I didn't take it for that.
Car.
I didn't take it for that. I feel like the Aston would be cool. The problem is I'm just too poor.
I think I'm driving the Scion in the manner that you should be driving the S2000.
Slow car fast.
Yep. That I have this thing on needlessly short sidewall tires and a suspension more generous than it needs to be.
But
It's like it creaks and moans and it ain't perfect, but the 45 on ramps are quite entertaining in this little thing.
for sure. I have fun in the
And
Jeep,
every time that I get an FRS, like I'm just too old for this. We see a lot of those rolling through, and there have been a few automatic ones,
really.
but the styling of how the shifter's laid out, that'll take one look at it and think like, "Hey, see if you can move this." Like, it's not a stick. Really? Look at the steering wheel.
Look at the pedals.
Yeah.
I mean-
It's been there. Like, it's. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I went 70 or 60 fewer horsepower for more utility. I'm just too old to try to fit into an FRS BRZ 86 daily.
Well, I feel like if you're buying the toy, though, like,
Make it quicker.
if I pulled in...
And it's a $5,000 premium on a supercharger. I've got one of my Raleigh buddies that now lives in Florida because he's now ex-Marine. Bought one as track toy, but just to see what he can do with that. But he's had a vet, he's had bikes, he has airplanes. He dailies a second-gen Insight just to get stupid gas mileage.
Of course.
Yeah, if ever you can meet other Josh, he's a cool dude.
I liked the Celica. I just didn't like the front bumper of that one.
I think he and Smith might have crossed paths once upon a Navy encounter in Pensacola.
Yeah, the problem is, like, when I looked at the Celica's front bumper, it was a little too boy racer for me. And sourcing a JDM bumper for a Celica in 1994, and then getting it painted, and then it matching the paint that you have on the car, it's a little tricky. So let's be honest. You're close to 40, and I'm in my mid 30s, and then going on my mid 60s in my thoughts.
Trouble is that body kits don't look good on
They
that
don't.
car. It looked more subdued than most.
The side,
I hated it less than you did.
the side, and the rear look good. The front bumper, I just wasn't crazy about.
Okay.
It was too much going on. Bone stock R33 GTST Skyline, perfect. But Aston would be a good grown-up sports car. Corvette's a little too old for me. But the thing is, too, I like rarer stuff. Like, I don't care about lap times or anything like that.
A Corvette is common and rare at the same time. It is the thing that has been burned into every American's brain now for 66 years.
If you gave me $40,000...
Except for 1983.
Well, I would say, if somebody gave you $50,000 and me $50,000 and say, go buy a 2-door manual transmission sports car, neither of us would come back with a Corvette, would we?
No.
No. I wouldn't come back with anything American-made, would you?
No.
I don't think I would either. If I were really rich, I would still have a Viper. The last generation Viper, I would absolutely have. But you cannot get one of those for $50,000.
I gotta say, that's pushing a hundo, isn't it?
Yeah. If you gave me $50,000 and said I had to spend it on a car, no more, no less, I had to spend $50,000 on a car. And it'd be a toy? I mean, I don't know. Like, I'd be inclined to say an NSX, but even those are climbing into the 80s. So, I mean, $50,000, man, there's a lot of good options. A V8, you'd be hard pressed to find a better, cool, comfortable car you would love to pull up in Cars and Coffee in than a V8 Vantage?
A 1M2.
I don't hate that one.
One of the go-karty BMWs, like proof that you can still build entertaining cars. Nobody's buying them anymore, but that remains high on the list.
True. We need to get through the
imaginary
alphabet.
thing. Yeah.
We're still on
And
S.
the rest of it is going to be impossible as well.
Or on S.
Uh-huh.
So, Scion.
Uh-huh.
Saline still makes things. It's not saline, by the way, everybody. That's salt and water.
Delicious.
Saline. Smart.
Are they totally dead here? We had a few of them roll through, and that is... Those are, like, between that and the Fiat 500s are ever entertaining to see people's reactions to those.
I'd rather have the 500. Like, the smart cars were just small
It was
and
gross.
horrible gas mileage.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Isn't it, though? That's really good.
Can I keep them?
I mean, how many Florida men you want to keep around?
Just a man I can.
As long as they're not raining. Studebaker was
so much for
way
today's
old.
weather. It's like, Studebaker's technically dead by 63 and by proxy dead in
Suzuki.
90. Yep.
They still make cars in Japan.
Yeah. You were admiring the Kazashi earlier.
Kazashi was a
That's
good-looking
a
car.
handsome devil.
You
The
can probably get
SX4
one.
was not a bad-looking little four-door hatchback thing, too.
Suzuki didn't make
That
bad-looking cars,
is-
though. I mean, they were all just plucky. The Swift.
My favorite technician at old job. First I was there, he had an SVT Contour.
Oh, my God.
And then replaced that with an SX4 because tiny all-wheel drive hatchback thing.
Forgot they were all-wheel drive.
And then got a CRZ, all of which were sticks. And this is a guy who looked like John DeLorean, 60-ish and entirely silver-haired. Just super entertaining guy, and I have no idea what he's up to now. That somewhere between getting laid off and getting rehired, he retired. And I have no means of reaching him. He was the world's one remaining entertaining Keith.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't think of any Keiths I would want to be around.
Just the guy that looks like John DeLorean. That's it. Don't need any more. Don't need my old coworker whose last name was Keith because he's a creep.
The guy who bought my TSX.
And oddly enough, they both had shitty teeth. Whoops.
Keith with bad teeth. The guy who bought my TSX had a CRZ. That was his. He and his girlfriend dailied that, and he wanted another car. And when he bought my TSX on my way home, he's like, I was like, you want to drive it? You want to drive me back to my house? He's like, no, you can drive it one more time back to your house, and I'll drive. I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I think about VIPing it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you do with it. You know what that is, don't you?
I got a feeling this is going to go badly.
He was thinking about
dropping
it all the way to the ground and putting like 22s on it, tubbing. Like, I was like, hey, man, you've already paid me your money. I was thinking in my mind, you paid me your money. You can do whatever you want to this car, and I don't care what you do with it. I got my money.
Yeah,
I drove this car for free.
Isn't it precious? It's a car.
I made money on this car.
If you need another one, you could find another one.
Yeah. TSA, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
if somebody's like, I'm
it's
a
not the
VIP.
most common thing out there, but you can find another one.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm gonna VIP your Mangusta.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
A VIP Mangusta sounds like a sex maneuver. But yeah, it's a TSX. I don't care. I don't care what you do with it. I don't care if the guy that bought my S2000 stances it.
Like,
it's not my car anymore.
Like for what it's worth, could you do that to a second gen TSX instead because it's already ugly.
Yeah, they took a step back. Like the first gen TSX,
Gorgeous.
gorgeous.
I really enjoyed that.
in Japan, what was it?
The Accord.
Euro R.
How and why in the hell did they sell cars so different under the same name?
Emily's car in Japan is
A cow.
what's it called? It's the Honda Inspire.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
It's the Buick.
It's
It is the Honda Buick.
Emily's passenger seat in her
2011
Accord.
Accord, folks. What the fuck? No.
The passenger seat in her Accord is marginally more comfortable than sitting on that stool with the Focusrite that way.
You shouldn't because you'll crush it.
It's still that is the most uncomfortable car built. The driver's seat's not bad, but the passenger seat it's horrible, man. It's just not comfortable at all.
That's funny you mention that because she's not breaking in any seats ever.
No, because she's the size and weight of a gel tab multivitamin. Now the Jeep seats, there are two cars that I've owned that I do not get tired or I don't get sore from driving. This is going to surprise you, I think. There are two cars that I've owned out of the 10 that it was never painful to take long trips in. It was always comfortable.
Cherokee and
The Cherokee.
the Astro.
No. Starion.
Huh.
The white Starion. The seats were so grippy, but so comfortable. It was just, you just sank into them, but it also held you in place because it also had 7-way adjustable seats in 87. That car was $21,000 in 1987.
Yeah.
That was what, now 50?
My first Volvo would have been $23,000 in 1990
Yep.
and less well equipped.
Mm-hmm.
That it's comfortable, but it's not fast. The seats didn't adjust that much.
Mm-mm.
And usually seat adjustments are in even numbers. Like, were they heated?
We're not going to get to our music topic today, I don't think.
I can't quite contest any of this. Just listen more Rage Against the Machine, folks.
Yeah. We can do that next episode. My
It's
dad's graduation
probably
year.
Still be that's still going to be a threat, I'm sure.
Probably so. S, or we're still on S. We just did smart.
And it's like Toyota's not out. Science
Spiker?
out. Yeah.
I wasn't. I don't know if I count that or not because it was like
It's
the Milli Vanilli of cars. It was here. It was gone.
I've never seen one in reality.
Me either. Saw two C8 Corvettes on the way home Sunday.
Wow.
Two white ones. One in Siler City and one in Ashboro. Two different ones. Unless he somehow was going this way while we were going this way and not stopping and then circled around and came back. But by the way, a lot of presents in person. Emily's like, ooh, what's that? I'm like, that's the new Corvette. I'd still have a C7.
Because stick.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's not a complete hunk of shit.
Yeah, you don't ever buy the first year of a performance car. Ever.
Good thing the Vibe wasn't really a performance car.
No.
I was like, the videos of when that car debuted are hilarious.
Oh, I imagine.
It's like the spirit of the 90s is alive in these videos from 02.
The new Z outline, did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty. The 400Z.
Yeah, Tesla's not dead yet. Tucker died in 48.
TVR was never sold here. Triumph was.
Actually, the both of them did.
TVR?
Yeah.
sold stateside?
I think early T-Bars totally Triumphs.
Yeah, Triumph.
I could be wrong, and I'll be wrong again. But yeah, totally Triumph had been.
Yeah. I knew Triumph was. Because
Ultima, but that's a kit car.
my dad dated a woman that had a TR5. And he said the hardtop was like 120 pounds or something stupid.
For a 120-pound car? That's ridiculous.
Well, it was a different time. Yeah, TVRs were I would put my next paycheck on it. Was never sold stateside legally.
Can't afford that gambling.
And
Don't.
there's nothing. So
like Ultima was a kit car, so that's a completely different thing.
Volvos, and
Yeah, Volvo's
that's
not dead.
W.
Vauxhall's
V.
It's,
W.
it's like it was
Weissman.
Huh?
The W was Weissman, the German roadster, but that was never sold in the U.S.
Why Yugo?
Yugos, yeah, Yugos were sold in the U.S.
Same crazy redneck coworker said he had a neighbor that bought all of his kids Yugos because that was the cheapest thing possible new.
And spent $10,000 on 4 cars.
Basically spent $10,000 on 5 cars to ultimately have one that ran. Did you ever see anybody's video on that and how garbage and a half that car is?
No.
Like, good news, bad news. That was the cheapest car possible to be had brand new in the U.S. in 1986. Oh, hey, what a year. For $4,000. The entry-level Hyundais, then, were $5,000. And wasn't till the years contained more zeros that they were worth a damn. Yugo simply had its nation collapse and do various awful things. You have a coworker that's told you everything.
Yes.
And promptly vanish. Like, if you really want a Yugo, folks, just get an 80s Volkswagen GTI.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something that it'll leak all the oil, but be, oddly enough, more reliable and more entertaining. Or if you really need it to be slow, they do sell diesel options in those too, as the Golf. Yeah, Jetta, I will brain you because sedans are stupid.
The GTI, for when you want a Yugo, but you want marginally better reliability, but parts availability.
It's only because I couldn't find a Civic Si back in 2000.
The best SI is the Electron Blue 2000 Civic Si. There are faster ones. There are lighter ones. But I like that one. We are 2 hours in, and we didn't get to any music.
I already told the folks listening we're rage.
True. We were going to do another topic, but we can wait till 64.
Will you still live, Lee? Will you still need me? Will you still love me when I'm 64?
Well, I was going to say, before we leave, is there any new music you've discovered that you want to share with?
For those that are actually listening to this nonsense, the band Radish has a song from 1996 called Dear Antarctica.
That's cool.
Which, funny you mentioned that, did not age well in today's landscape, but it's kind of perfect. Did you listen to it?
Have not yet.
All right. That's the one I told you about yesterday. It is the most 90s-tastic bunch of something terrible's in your town, and nobody gives a shit.
I haven't listened to any news.
That's popped up on a turn of the century music podcast from 3 years ago. and on Spotify it currently has about 16,000 plays.
All right.
Which means nobody knows about these guys. And at this point, they still won't.
Hey, man, we know people that don't know about other guys. We're living that shit.
We're lesbians?
Did you see my post from today?
I'm not paying a lot of attention to this nonsense. I just keep posting my crap on my crap and then move on.
This will be the last of this episode. 9 o'clock this morning, there were 3 very drugged out women who came in our store. Very skinny, crackhead looking women. Got escorted out of the building for
we call them waifs.
having lesbian sex in the women's bathroom in our store. It's not one you would want to investigate at all.
Not with them, no.
Not with them. No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
No, I've never caught rabies from a picture before.
And so I decided that our punk band name should be Lesbian Crackheads. I wouldn't be opposed to it, if I'm honest. And before I leave, Steve, after I leave you with Lesbian Crackheads,
it's your house. You do what you want.
758 downloads of this show. 758? That's pretty cool.
I can't count that high.
It could be more. And I hope it will be more. You guys better like and subscribe and all that shit to all this stuff, because we work hard for... No, we don't. We want hard for this, right?
We'll keep going at a medium pace. You can too.
Thinking about asking Noda to do a donation to us for reviews and such. Sponsor?
If only.
This episode sponsored by an actual sponsor.
I was thinking if you could only have a live stream from there, like play on premises, while
through
all
the
the
loudspeakers?
just like you and Toby playing there, but like it's video conference, like all these other idiots are drinking outside the bar because you can do that now.
Yeah.
It's like, if we can't make it to the thing.
I'll work on it.
It was a wild idea, and me trying to convey this, I can't words properly. I just want tacos. So
Well,
there's that.
We can walk up there now. So, Steve, 63's
Yeah,
done.
the weather looks quite nice.
Yes, with no music this time. It was a very car-heavy episode, and I'm okay with that.
Yep.
All right. Well, 63's in the book. Steve, we're done. 64 will be... What's the day?
Whenever.
Tuesday. And next week is...
Not quite when I should be in Charleston, so who cares?
So maybe next week.
Yeah, that all got flubbed.
What's Charleston next week?
Family beach trip last couple of years has typically been the last week of June, but thanks to the COVID, that got completely flip-flopped. Like, hey, we're going to be in Isle of Palm instead of Folly Beach, the dead opposite side of Charleston Metro, and like the 13th through the 20th, in a smaller place. So yeah, rent your own place and come hang out with us when you can. Like, I can't. not such a short notice.
Well,
No.
what if we all did... Well, we're doing the mountain trip, and I want you to be there this time. So... But Emily and I are thinking about doing a mini trip soon. We'll figure something out. 64 will be...
I don't like the mouse.
Maybe next week? I don't know. 64 will be when 64 happens. It'll be after 63 and before 65. Hey, Steve.
You math major, you.
He is Steve.
And this guy's Applejacks.
I don't taste like apple. Depending on who you ask. Steve.
Tastes like Jack's.
Later, Gator. All right. We'll see you in 64. 63's in the books. Bye, Steve.
Bye, AJ.
Later.
Bye, people.